Preeti, and I've been working at Infosys from past 10 plus years as a tester till now. And I've been into different fields. I've been introduced into different fields like being a business analyst, and I used to be a test lead. I used to be a project lead. So there are different fields in which, and also different domains in which I do have worked into. So I was into hospitality, I was into finance, I was into FMCG, I was into banking. So there are different domains in which I worked into. First of all, please do introduce yourself because I really love to hear from you something about you. Like what is your profession, where are you from, and why being into testing, and what are they expecting from this class? So could you please introduce yourself, Miss Bhuvneshwari, if I'm not wrong?
Yes. Hi, Preeti. This is Bhuvneshwari here.
Hello.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. So
Just a
I
quick
I
one.
completed my education 7 years back. I did
Okay.
BE
Mm-hmm.
engineering 2008 computer science. And then I came here just after marriage, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't work because I was in because of visa, and then I got a
Mm-hmm.
green card, so I just want to try testing.
Wow, that's great. So you're into BCSE, right? So if I'm not wrong, then obviously you do know, you would have some knowledge in Java, in all the softwares, HTML, CSS, SQL, and all.
Yeah, I do have basic idea, but it's been long time, so I have to refresh everything again.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand it. So next would be Chandralekha.
Yeah, hi Preeti, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Chandralekha. Hope you are doing good. So can
Thank
you
you.
please give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah. Actually, I have finished my MBA from last 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not work anywhere. I'm trying to enter in this field, testing field. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
so somebody
Mm.
would have suggested this, right? That you need to get into testing, or else is that your interest that you have got into testing and you're
Yeah,
interested in testing right now?
yeah, I'm interested actually. I want
You're
to get into IT field. Mainly, I'm very fond of IT field.
Yeah, but there are many things in IT field. Like you can become a system administrator, you can become a customer support executive, or you can also become a developer. You can also become a tester. You can be an architect. So there are many ways into IT, especially
Uh,
IT. So
mm.
why testing?
Basically, I don't know, but it's when compared to other, it's a little bit. I don't say that, but it's a little bit easy to enter.
I
I'm so
understand.
sorry.
I
I'm so
understand
sorry
it.
for that. I'm telling that.
No, no, it's not sorry. You see, obviously, we are humans. We do want something which comes easier. Obviously.
Yeah.
That is human tendency. If you would be telling me that no, I'm really passionate about testing, so it's a lie. I understand it. Being into 10 plus years into this field, I know how does it feel.
Thank you.
Thank you for your very short introduction, Chandralekha.
Thank you.
Then it's Gayatri.
Hey, hi, Preeti. You can hear me?
Yes, you're pretty much audible. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. Hi, Preeti. How are you?
I'm doing good, Gayatri. And you know what? I used to have a friend whose name was Gayatri. So, okay. Please do go on.
Yeah, hi. I have done my master's in computer management, and I
Mm-hmm.
worked for a very short period. So I was into like programming, and it was like long back, 7 to 8 years back. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I came on H4, and since then we applied for green card, and the process is going on, and we kept moving here and there in the US. So finally, I got my H4 EAD. So I want to actually, I have taken business analyst course, and I started looking for a job for the past 3 to 4 months, but nothing worked out. Actually, I'm looking within the Bay Area. I live in Fremont, California.
Okay, okay.
So nothing worked out. So I want to update myself. Like I know a little programming languages, Java. We have done actually as a part of my project. I have done the programming languages. So I'm pretty much familiar with SQL and Oracle. So just
Oracle, okay.
I want to update myself with Selenium too. So let's give it a try and how things go. I want to see how it works.
I understand all your feelings over here, thinking about testing and why do you feel it so easy. Uh, Let me give a quick introduction. As I told you that I've been into testing from past 10 plus years into Infosys, into many other domains. So I started up as a manual tester, and to give you a boost, I'm not from a CSE background. I was from a electrical background, electricals and electronics, which is completely away from whichever you were into. So don't worry about it. As you keep practicing, the only way at which you can be best and better at any automation tool or might be in any other subject, it's all about practicing and it's all about listening. So first listen and then please do ask me doubts because listening skill is much more needed, and also presentation skill is also very much important in this industry. So all you three, Bhuvneshwari, Chandralekha and Gayatri, were talking about getting into IT industry. The first and foremost thumb rule of getting into IT industry is all about listening skills, writing skills and understanding skills. So once you listen, then you write it down and then you understand and then automate or might be do the manual testing accordingly. Um, is there anything else you want to know about this profession or might be about testing? But as well, I'll give you an introduction about testing as well. But still, if you want to know something, are there any queries for me?
Yeah, Preeti.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, actually, Selenium, actually, I am from non-IT field, as you know that. But can I cope up with that Selenium and everything?
So that is what I was also telling you. I am
Yeah.
also from non-IT field. Believe me, I didn't had even a mail ID till my third year of BE degree. I didn't
Okay.
know how to use my Gmail till
Okay.
that point. So
Mm.
you can just understand how bad I was at IT and about this software. And now I'm a Selenium tester. So I will make it as easy as possible to understand, as smooth as it is to understand. Okay? So
Thank you. Thank
never
you.
pick up yourself or never think as if it's kind of a Greek language. No, it's not. It's just English which is written in different 0101s. That's it. Nothing other than that. So
Okay.
they're very easy. Once you pick up with one language, then you can go for the others. And also since you're testing, see,
Mm.
development and testing, there's a large gap, a big gap between development and testing. Development is to make a software, and testing is you're just checking if whether particular thing is available or not. Like, for example, if a particular button is available or not, if a particular link is available or not. So you wouldn't need completely a core Java knowledge. You would need some loops to understand if statements, promises. So these things you'll get to know as we cope up with our classes, as we go on with our classes. So don't worry at all regarding that. I'll make it as smooth as possible and as easy as possible to understand and to work with Selenium. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And any more else? Anyone else?
I'm good, Preeti.
Okay, fine then. So let's move on with the session. So there are three thumb rules of my sessions to my classes. To number one, please do listen to my classes. And number two, whichever assignment I'm giving you every single day, I'll give you one or the other assignment. Please do complete it by the next day so that I would also would get to know whether you did understand whatever I have taught you in the previous classes. And also I would get to know if you have any more doubts it would be better that we clear it on the next day itself than to, just keep on adding all the doubts together, right? So this is my second rule. And the third rule is that I would be giving much more assignments, and also sometimes I would take up a surprise test or might be a surprise question and answer sessions, which would help you into your interviews, because I myself have took many interviews, like some 20 or 30 at my company. So obviously I would know that which are the questions which would be asked. So I might give you some surprise question and answer sessions, or might be some surprise test. So be ready every day. Please prepare yourselves. Okay. So, and also the other thing, please do let me know if you can just mail up at this itclassesonline@gmail.com in case if you're not coming to the classes, or else you can just contact your mentor Arjun for that. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's start our session. First of all, I would like to listen from you what is testing. The first question, the basic question which every tester need to answer, what is testing? Bhuvneshwari, can you please answer?
Testing is nothing but checking any particular functionality of a system. Or
Okay, and what is the result of it, Chandralekha, when I check for the functionality?
actually, if it is fine, if it is not fine, it is our duty to find a bug. If it is not fine, there will be. No, I'm so sorry. I'm not comfortable.
No, that's fine. See, I don't want bookish knowledge from you. I just want to understand what did you understand from the sessions. That's it.
A tester's responsibility is to find whether a particular app is working fine or not.
Okay, very good. So now, Gayatri, can you tell me the different types of testing?
There are different types of testing, unit testing, regression testing, and
So this is where people get wrong. There is a
It's
difference.
functional testing, non-functional testing, and performance testing.
Okay.
Functional,
And
non-functional, and performance.
Gayatri, I want you to answer. I want everybody to participate in the class. So Gayatri, could you tell me what are the different types?
Different types means, as Bhuvaneshwari said, there is performance testing, how it is particular functionality, how it is working, and I'd say, like, while testing, a test scripts or something, it's a pass or fail, like, entering correct values by checking that functionality and entering the wrong values, how it is working, and unit testing. So yeah, the unit testing and everything.
Okay, so I understand that you're confused between what are levels of testing and types of testing. See, levels of testing are just like the levels of life. Like you have childhood, you become a teenager and then an adult, right? So these are three compulsory levels which every human, might be me, you, man, woman, human being, whomever he might be, he'll pass all these levels. But the type of education what would be given to them, or the type at which they are grown up, is different. Uh, Depending upon what environment they are put up into. So in the same way, levels of testing are unit, integration, system test level, and then user acceptance test level. So all these three levels, regardless of what stage you are into, or what is the type of testing you are doing, all these three levels would be undergone. And then in these three levels, what type of testing, that depends upon the software or the product which you are using for. Am I clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So there is a difference between level and type of testing. Okay. In the unit testing itself, I can use some regression testing in my unit testing.
Yes.
I can use my system testing. So that differs. All the types of testing can be used in different levels of testing. Okay. So there is a simple difference between levels of testing and types of testing. And number two, which for which there is a difference between the simplest difference between an experienced tester and a fresher who just took up a course into testing is that the terminology which we use. So it's like this: entering valid values, not correct values. Entering valid values and entering invalid values. It's not incorrect values.
Okay.
And there is nothing called as a thing. It's about expected result, actual result. So in case if if the expected result is not matching the actual result, we call it as an issue. And there is no difference between a bug or an issue. Let me make it clear. Okay? So this terminology is what would tell if you're experienced, else if you're a fresher. And next, we can call it as a system or a software. And I really appreciate Bhuvaneshwari for using those words of functionality, which is very, very important terminology which we use in our testing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so since we were talking about Selenium, I want you to explain me or just tell me in few words that what is Selenium? What do you think Selenium will do? What type of testing can I achieve through Selenium?
Selenium is automation testing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Chandralekha, can you just add a few more points for this?
I don't have any idea on Selenium actually. It's a yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's Java based. I think I don't have any knowledge.
Okay, that's fine. It's not a problem. Gayatri, what do you want to throw some light on this?
I actually, according to my understanding, it is an automated testing rather than performing manually. Yeah, that's what as per my knowledge.
Okay, so instead of using your automated testing, right? So can I use manual, or else without manual can I have automation, or without automation can I do manual testing? Or do you guys think that it is compulsory that we do have manual and automation both?
Actually, manual testing is more important than automation. In sometimes manual is very important, but automation is limited to certain extent, I think.
Okay, that's good. So Gayatri, could you tell me that do you think manual testing, without manual testing, I can do an automation, or without automation, I can do manual testing, or both go hand in hand? What do you think?
I think both go hand in hand because we can perform everything manually, so we adopt automation.
Oh, that's okay, fine. So Chandralekha, what do you think?
And one more thing, automation makes us to do work faster and
Okay, that's
highly repeated. Yeah.
Hello.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Bhuvaneshwari.
we use automation testing in those areas where we have to keep repeating the script a couple of times. There we use automation, whereas for the manual, we need to, we need to have an interaction with the code.
Okay, that's very good. That's right. That's right. So whatever the points you did tell me, those are all correct. Obviously, we do have automation to reduce our manual work, but it is impossible without initially performing a manual test on any of the software or on any of the system. I cannot straightly get away into automation. Obviously, as Bhuvaneshwari has added up a very good point saying that yes, to wherever there are repetitive testing, or we call it as a regression testing, wherever the regression testing is much. So obviously at that particular point, I do automation, right? And also you need to remember that without manual work, automation cannot because obviously a person need to be available over there to write the scripts by himself or else to record the script. So there are many ways in which you generate a script for a particular system or a functionality. So that differs from one point to the other. Okay, so that's very good. So we do have, I think, some chemistry where we can easily communicate with each other. And you're good with me, I think, Gayatri, Chandralekha, and Bhuneshwari, that you can freely ask me whatever the questions, queries you do have, and also whatever the doubts which you have. So let's get into test automation right now.
Yeah.
Majorly, when we talk about Selenium, it's all about functionality testing. It's all about regression testing, which I'm talking about. So obviously, regression testing is just to test if this particular defect which is fixed is not creating problem in any other modules or might be in any other functionalities in the system. So that's what I'm going to check in my regression testing. Now the point is there are like thousands and thousands of functionality testing tools in the market. Some are free source, some are paid like QTP, some are paid. You have UFT, which is a newer version of QTP obviously. Like this you do have RFT, RPT, there are n number of automation tools. Now how do I decide as a tester, obviously how do I decide that, so, see, this is the tool which I need to use for my automation. How do I decide that?
It based on the company's rules.
See, company doesn't have any rule. So obviously company doesn't give you up a rule saying that, see, you need to use only this automation tool. It's not. When you become a test lead, or might we just assume that you're a test lead right now. So obviously the manager would ask me as a test lead saying that, so since you're a tester, you have been working for many years now, please tell me which automation tool which we need to use. So how do I decide that?
Maybe based on the expensive or I think based on the I if it is some apps may get free very less cost than others. Maybe it will be one of the things to consider. And
Okay, that's correct. So let's say,
and one more thing regarding the applications type we need to decide.
very good. So type of application. I'm just using this WordPad as a just like a whiteboard so that you can we can just write down whatever we are discussing right now. So anything else? Cost is also involved. Very good. And then so let's say type of the application does mean is it a web application or is it a desktop application, right? Okay, and then the cost. That's very good. And then expertise. See, there might be like in these 50 tools, there might be some 25 tools which are cost effective and as well which will work for my type of application and also will reduce the time. But still, I have only like 10 testers in my who do understand automation. So there are only 10 tools which I can pick up. I cannot pick up all the 25. Am I correct?
Right.
Right? And also, when I pick up a tool, I need to also consider that how much would, how complicated is it and how user friendly it is. I must also think in such way that my testers have been working in it. They also have a particular format at which they are used of, and now I'm introducing them to a totally different new environment. I'm training them. For example, they have been using QTP, and now I'm training them into a and I'm introducing them to a very new tool called as Selenium. So obviously I need to know what are their comfort levels, correct? I cannot push them much saying that you need to learn PHP, Perl and C# together to work to work in this automation tool. Is it possible? Not everybody can do that, right?
Right.
So there must be a particular tool which is cost effective and which does also meet my testers' expertise, and also it should be able to handle the type of application. So obviously I will end up with two tools which are up in the market right now. So that is QTP and Selenium. Now, what are the advantages of QTP and what are the disadvantages of QTP? What are the advantages of Selenium and what are the disadvantages of Selenium, or what we are going to discuss right now. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Very good. Now, let's compare QTP and so, Chandralekha, are you aware of QTP?
Yeah, a little bit.
And Gayatri, I don't hear any
Yeah,
feedback from
I
you.
yeah. No, I don't have any idea because I didn't take this manual testing training also.
We haven't took any manual testing training too.
Yeah, no, this is the first time.
That's interesting. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. So, let's talk about QTP and Selenium. So, just for a small introduction to Gayatri, manual testing is just like this. In a simple way, in 4 words to say, this is a developed system. This is a WordPad, which is a developed system. What do I do is that I'll just check if every functionality is working fine. That means if it is working as expected. So obviously, when I select this cost, this COST, and then I just click on this 36 font, then it needs to increase the font. This is what is expected. So when I increase it to 36, if it is still remaining the same at 22 font, then obviously it's called as a defect. Very simple words to say. Okay?
Okay.
So now since WordPad is a very huge software, you do have insert, page layout, references, mailings, review, view, blah, 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 all this stuff. So it's not easy for me that whenever there is a defect, what I'll do is that, for example, let's take a real-time scenario. At my home, I do have a switch. Uh, for example, I do have two switches, like one for fan and one for some electricity bulb. So, or else might be for the TV. If one has got spoiled, then I will call up an electrician and ask him to fix. Once he did fix the switch for the fan, so obviously I would test even the next switch that is for the TV and then pay him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just switch on even the TV switch and also the fan switch, and then would tell him that okay, everything is working fine, so you can leave and would pay him. So this is the same way what would happen. So there is a defect that is, even if I change it into 36, it's still at the font of 22. So obviously I'll call up the developer and I'll tell him, see guys, this is a problem. It's still remaining as 22. Now, what should I do? So obviously the developer who does know the cause of this problem, he would fix it. Now, since there is a fix in this particular functionality, there might be a change or there might be a problem in this functionality also, that is font. Because these two are interlinked, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yes.
these are interlinked together in a particular module or submodule called as font. So whenever there is a fix, might be in this change case, might be in this color, I need to again test all these functionalities, which is a very hectic job and which I call it as regression testing. So instead of manually clicking on each and every button whenever there is a fix in this font, what I'll do is that I'll make a simple script for it. Or just like a tape recorder, I will record whatever needs to be done and I'll play it back again and again whenever I need it to be tested, in very simple words. So that is called as automation. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So there are different tools available for it like QTP and Selenium. These are the headmasters of all the schooling of automation right now. So since we are learning Selenium, we are just comparing these two tools such that we'll get to know which is best and why are we learning this and what can be used when, which tool can be used when and why. So let's talk about QTP. QTP is headed by HP and Selenium by ThoughtWorks. So Selenium is by ThoughtWorks. And next. So QTP does test both web and window-based applications, whereas Selenium does test only web applications. And then QTP is very costly, licensing is very costly, whereas Selenium is free source. Next, QTP can handle VB script, and I can write QTP script only in VB scripting, but whereas I can write scripts and modify scripts in C#, C, PHP, Perl, and different languages when I go for Selenium. So these are the different advantages and disadvantages of QTP and Selenium. Let's get back into Selenium right now, and let's understand that why use Selenium and when do we use Selenium. So in case if you have any queries or you want to contact, you can just mail up to itclassesonline@gmail.com, or you can just call up this number. Next, so we were talking about test automation, right? So this is what I was talking about. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so test automation is the use of software. So to set test preconditions, to control the execution of test, to compare the actual outcomes to predicted outcomes, to report the execution status. So when we do test automation, we need to set this thing. That is, we need to have preconditions set up in automation. We need to control the execution of the tests. We need to compare the actual outcomes, that is the expected result and the actual result, and then report the execution status. So these are the four things which I do. That is to set the test preconditions. So I can set the test preconditions, and then to control the execution of the test. So I can control the execution of the test. So these four things I'm going to teach you, but these are the four major things what would happen at automation, and I will compare the actual outcomes to the predicted outcomes. That means I would compare through my script itself what is expected and what is actual. And number 4, to report the execution status. So once I did set the preconditions, I did execute the test, I did compare the expected result and the actual result, and then finally I will report the execution status. So this is what happens in automation script in short. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the point number 2, which you always remember, which you should always remember, is test automation is nothing but, as you all did tell me, that first manual testing would take place, and only then automation would be involved. Why? The point is now why? Why? Because manual testing will ensure the stability of the system or the software, right? It does mean when you have completed your manual testing, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, please. Please do give me a feedback, because I didn't get to know that you guys are able to catch me up or not.
Okay.
Fine. So manual testing, when I say I did complete the manual testing, it does mean it ensures the stability of the system. It would ensure that there are no more changes which would happen to the system, because making a script is easier, but whenever there is a change, obviously I need to change my script too, correct?
Yes.
I need to change my script too, which is very much difficult, because it is not auto-generated, or it's not a human work, like I just go and click on a button. No, it's not possible. I need to write down the whole thing back again. Right? So that is why, so it's a tiresome job. So that is why we ensure that we've completed the manual testing first, and we did exit the manual testing first and only then enter into an automation testing. And once you're ready for automation testing, then there would be an automation test plan which would be made, which would be written.
Okay.
In the automation test plan, it would be given what is the scope of automation. So each and everything you cannot automate. In a system, it is impossible to do 100% of automation. It's not possible. Only the areas which could be automated would be described or suggested under the scope of automation. Okay?
Okay.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next. Why and when to automate. So as you three did tell me before, why and when to automate? When there is frequent regression testing. That is whenever your testing is repetitive again and again and again and again. Next, repeated test case execution is required. So this was what we were talking about. Then user acceptance tests. So in case if you have any user acceptance tests, then obviously I would use automation. And I think Gayatri did add up this point, or Chandralekha did add up this point, saying that it is faster. So this is the same point. Why and when to automate is that whenever you need a faster feedback to the developer, or else there is less time and I need to execute my test as soon as possible. At that point, I would use my automation, and then test the same application on multiple environments. So this is very, very important point. See, when I do test a web application, obviously I'll do some cross-browser testing. What do you mean by cross-browser testing is that you would
Browser
test
compatible
on,
test cases.
sorry?
Whether it is compatible in various browsers.
Yes, correct. So whether it is compatible in various browsers, whether it is compatible in various browsers. So whether the same application, what I'm using right now, might be Gmail or Facebook or whatever, whichever web application which I'm using right now, whether it is compatible in different browsers. So this is what we are going to test this is what you're going to test through cross-browser testing. Like I would test the same application at Chrome, I test the same application at Firefox, I would test the same application in Safari, different software or so at different browsers. Manually, if you would try to do this, it is a very difficult job.
Yes.
But whereas by a simple command in automation, I can test the same script or run the same test script in different browsers. So that is why we do use automation. Am I clear till here?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was talking about different test automation tools. So this was that Quick Test Professional, RFT, Silk Test, Test Complete, QA Run, Water, Selenium, Sahi. These are nothing but different automation testing tools. So I just had given you an example over here saying what are the automation testing tools which are available. Next, talking about Selenium. So we just did talk about different advantages of Selenium. So these are the different advantages. Selenium is a robust set of tools that support, as I told you, different web-based applications. Cross-browser testing is very much easy using your Selenium. Point number 2. Selenium provides a rich set of testing functions specifically geared to the needs of testing of a web application. So it's just adding a point to the Selenium web application advantage. That is, you can run your test script or write your test script in different languages. Like I told you, it's Java, PHP, Perl, C, C Ash, you name it, and you write your script in that language. Next, Selenium operations are highly flexible, allowing many options for locating UI elements. So this UI elements is a word which would be using again and again into your Selenium. So when you talk about a browser, in a browser, we call them as elements. A button is an element. A link is an element. A checkbox is an element. A drop-down box is an element. So these are nothing but different elements. And when I write a test script, I need to first make sure that I identify that element. If I don't identify that it is food, I cannot eat it. Correct? Yes. In the same way, if I don't identify what type of element it is in at my web browser or in the UI, I I would not be able to act on it. If I don't know whether it is a checkbox, I cannot write a script to check in that checkbox. If I don't identify that it is a combo box, I would not be able to select an element from a combo box from the list of options available. So the first point which you need to remember is, and also to learn in automation, is how to make your tool identify the element. And in Selenium, it is very much easy to identify an element. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next. So this is what I was talking about. Allow scripting in several languages like Java, C, PHP, and Python. Next, supports cross-browser testing. The Selenium test can be run on multiple browsers on just a simple command. Assertion statement provide an efficient way of comparing expected and actual results. Inbuilt reporting mechanism. It is very important. So it has got an inbuilt reporting mechanism. So it's very easy for me to report my issues, or might be to report my results. Next. So this is a very important part. We have three components in Selenium. We do have Selenium IDE, Selenium RC remote control, and Selenium Grid, or we call it as Selenium WebDriver right now. We need to concentrate mostly on two things. RC has got few disadvantages. So we will be concentrating mostly on Selenium IDE and also Selenium WebDriver, because these are the two hot topics which are going on in your market too. There are very less people who will be using remote control. See, the difference between Selenium remote control and Selenium grid is that Selenium remote control would be first communicating with a port, PORT port, and then communicating with your web browser or the system which you need to test. So this link is very much complicated when we take up remote control. First, when you write your script in Selenium RC, the script will first communicate with a port, and then from the port it would contact with your system which you need to test. Whereas Selenium Grid would directly communicate with your web browser.
Okay.
Or Selenium WebDriver is something, so that is why it is called as WebDriver, which will drive your web-based systems. So Selenium WebDriver is something which would directly communicate with your system or web application which you are going to test.
Okay.
Are we clear till here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is about your demo session till now. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the next classes. We'll be talking about Selenium IDE, how to install Selenium IDE, how to install Selenium WebDriver, how to install Eclipse. So all these points we'll be talking about in the later classes. Are there any queries for me in this class?
Will you be sharing this PDF?
Yes, this would be shared. This would be shared to you.
Okay. Okay.
This would be shared to you. So you can, that's okay. Else you can also make a running notes. I always suggest my students to make a running notes.
Okay.
And as well, the notes which would be made, or the script which would be made in each and every class would be shared to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? Are there any other queries?
Preeti, any like the timings, any time, like I live in California, right? So what are the timings that typically works out for you?
Please do inform 9 p.m. EST.
And 11. Okay, 9 p.m. So 8, 7, 6. Oh, it will be pretty early for me. 6 in the morning.
Gayatri, that is 9 p.m. means, is it so early
Yeah,
for you?
sorry. 6
Yeah.
in the evening. 6 in the evening. Yeah, actually, Chandralekha discussed with me that timing. Okay. Yeah, 6 in the evening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's EST, so it's fine. So 9 p.m. EST would be good. So we'll meet back at 9 p.m. EST, and please do send your review